G'day and welcome to another edition of the Aussie Ideas Man. I got to rush this one out. I'm out in the open. I can hear people hitting with hammers and cars going past the road, even though this is a quiet place to be. But there's hard questions that I have to evaluate, and I have to laugh when I go hard questions. Anyway, let's see what happens.
All right, thanks, Chris. It's been a long time.
It has. It's been too long. Glad to see your pretty face again.
So you've been busy.
Busy.
You just got back from a trip?
Yeah, just went over to Taiwan and Japan with my partner. Had fun with the family. 93-year-old grandma's birthday. So
Okay.
Got lots of good ramen. Got lots of good family food.
Okay.
Couldn't
Was
ask
that so that was a vacation trip, not a work trip, is that correct?
a little bit of work, but mostly family fun.
Okay, very good.
Something that had been planned for a long time. So
Okay,
got to jet out and do some stuff sometimes.
very good. Okay, well, congratulations on Artemis. I know that people have been working hard on that and are still working hard on that. And the road trip is coming up.
Yeah, the evolution of Artemis and all of our testing validation vehicles is just, a lot of code refinement and updating. Feels like we're more a software and firmware company now.
Okay.
That seems to be taking up the bulk of our energy. So still lots of road testing and stuff to be done, but yeah, it's going well. Everything's moving along steadily.
Okay.
I shouldn't have to tell people. People should be smart enough to realise this for themselves. So he's begun with a bit of pleasantries, nothing hard questions about that, they're irrelevant. And then he goes, congratulations on Artemis. And lets Chris Anthony do what he does best, waffle on. But so far, we don't have a hard question. And let's just see if we ever get one. I already know in the comments that people have said there aren't any. So need I say too much?
And thanks for joining me. It's 9 p.m. at night, guys, and Chris Anthony is joining me. I think it looks like you're in your garage or something.
This is the man cave. So this is actually where Aptera started. So we
is that right?
3D printed the first interior parts down here, and I remember making the first cross-car beam down here, and the very first solar setup that we had to test kind of the validity of the idea was on the roof till recently. We had a windstorm, and it blew it all up. So I took the panels on. They were just cheap 100-watt Chinese panels, but put them at like the angle of the vehicle and then track the sun. So we had a little tracker, and then we just extrapolated from there. Okay, if this was 182 cells, how much would it produce? But I still have those panels, and maybe we'll give them away at the next big event.
Okay.
There at San Diego. So maybe you can get yourself it's probably an 80-watt panel by now. The Chinese stuff doesn't last too long, but but on this roof was the very first validation of Aptera Solar.
Okay.
So way more pleasantries, and still no hard questions, not even asked, let alone answered.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
So a couple of months ago, you guys talked about this in-gear two gear transmission that you guys are testing out. Is that in Artemis?
It was in Hermes for a while.
Okay.
And we only have the high-speed gear of the in-motive drive. So it's a pretty cool technology, super compelling. The in-motive team has been great to work with. They're
Let's try and get past the hammering. It is absolutely ridiculous to be putting a one-speed version of a two-speed gearbox that you're testing in Hermes, herpes as I call it. Now the answer to his question, is it in Artemis, is a direct no. But Chris Anthony does not know how to answer questions directly. He's the master of palavering.
Comes right out of your battery pack, right out of your range. So we're looking to eke out any bit of efficiency we can towards production, but it doesn't really change, how the motor installs or how the motor works. There's a little bit of programming on their side for how it actually shifts, but that's kind of in-motive's work. So yeah, it's been great testing it, and we're hopeful that we can get a full program together as we push towards production.
Okay, so is the plan to put that thing in the launch edition, or are you thinking to put it in like later iterations?
It's possible. I would say the EMR3s, the plan and anything that we can add to the EMR3 to make it more efficient would be great. So this kind of.
So the question is the plan to put it in the launch edition? And the answer is possibly. You get a lot of that.
On, there's other stuff we're looking at, kind of the different lubricants that we could have in the EMR3, which could gain a little bit of efficiency, so on. So we'll be continually looking for ways, working with our tire manufacturers for different compounds, working with our lubricant manufacturers to make sure our motor runs as efficiently as possible.
If you had a ICE engine, internal combustion engine, you might be able to eke out a tiny little bit of extra efficiency from an expensive lubricant. But if you just got electric motors, you're wasting your time, really. But it should fool the gullible.
Would that slow down production, or you're just like, if that gets ready by the time you guys are ready for production, you're going to put it in?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't hold production.
Yeah, it could be an add-on too. You could, if it didn't make the first 1,000 vehicles, and we could add it on, as an option. You could go in and have the gear case removed and have the new in-motive gear put on, maybe. But nothing official.
Now this is a real doozy. Removing the gear case from a motor that's fully integrated. So if the gearing was in a separate casing, you can just remove it and add on your 2-speed magic box. But because it's all integrated and the EMR3 motor already has its gearing and all the software integrated, it's no simple task to slice up a motor single-speed transmission combination. Maybe all of these UVUT engineers that support Aptera can explain how they're going to do this efficiently and effectively, and how they're going to have both options.
Until we do more testing and talk about what a full development program for something like that looks like. But for now, it is a very compelling technology. We've been talking with the in-motive guys for a year and a half or so. So it's not something that's new. It's just something that we finally decided, hey, we should put some time into this. So.
Okay, all right. So the actual validation vehicle is Gemini. Am I correct? Is that what it is?
Actual production intent validation vehicle is Gemini. So
right, that's
one
the
to go to track, and
that's the one that will get the actual production efficiency numbers, the actual range, and the actual solar production and all that stuff. Correct?
Yeah, that's the first one where we had to pay a premium for it, but to get more production intent weighted parts. Like that, so we can put it on the track as production intent.
Right.
Hermes and Artemis, they're a little heavier because we didn't spend the extra money to get the production weight parts. We just want parts.
Right.
So it has been great, even though they're a little bit heavy. And some of the other parts aren't the same as what's going to be in Gemini. Just see everything fits together. You run across problems that you just don't see in CAD when you actually put it on the road. Everything from clashing fasteners to clips that don't have enough room, to tubes that interfere with each other. Lots of learning from just getting the first vehicles together and getting them on the road and bouncing.
He's used these fasteners, clips and tubes excuses a few times in the past. And he's still wearing them out because people will still, well, I say people, the gullible fools will still swallow this nonsense. He's making excuses and he's not giving us anything concrete to go on.
Around and putting some miles on them, and great to see the first runs on real roads from Flagstaff down to the coast. It was awesome to see Steve out there and producing lots of solar power and getting great efficiency while mixing it up with semi trucks and other stuff. So it's baby steps in some ways, but it feels like, kind of landing on the moon, that, our world has changed since we put these first validation vehicles out. And now it just, it's a whole different kind of effort, a whole different kind of company. It's super exciting to see, the team rally behind these validation and testing goals and just getting it done. More people taking pictures of us on the roads now because we're testing and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So because I know you guys took Hermes out to the track, got some data on the efficiency and things like that, but you haven't released that stuff to the public. And I'm guessing it's presumably because that's not the production vehicle, so you don't want to confuse the picture.
Yeah, we no matter how you crack it, we're testing the most efficient vehicle ever put on the road. But we know people are going to take the first numbers that we put out very seriously.
Yes.
We tried to lessen, kind of the feelings around our Flagstaff test, but it was just too hard not to say, hey, this was a great initial run. It was amazing to see, how much efficiency and how much solar power we got. Even though we weren't able to deplete the whole pack and do a full range test and that sort of stuff and have the production weighted chassis, it's still just awesome to be the most efficient thing that's ever hit the road. I mean, Volkswagen spent billions of dollars on their 1L program, and it was 162 watt hours per mile.
So now we get back to the usual things. We're going to compare ourselves with Volkswagen and how much they spent, because that's going to impress the gullible. It's his snake oil. It's always been his snake oil. Compare with Volkswagen. Compare with Tesla. Rave on about how they're doing better than them. They're not. They're conning you. They are doing way worse than Volkswagen and Tesla ever did.
Nobody else is even close to the kind of efficiencies we're going to see with Aptera. But the goal is to get it down, as close to 100 watt hours per mile as possible. Get the solar, cranking over 4 kilowatt hours a day, and you put all that together, and it's a vehicle that will change the world.
He knows this is not going to happen. I'm certain of it by now. Been around too long not to know that while in the death knells, he will just pretend to the end. The commenters were right. No hard questions. Certainly no informative answers. Just snake oil. He's continuing on with the snake oil. I don't think his 94-year-old grandmother would believe it. Well, that's all for me. Bye for now. Stay safe. Until part 2, I guess. Then 3, and then 4. Who knows when these will come out.